You eating candy, man, or are you chewing on gum?
Chewing gum.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to be good, but there's a lot of Easter candy at my house, so gum is the lesser of the evils.
Yeah, man. Whatever. I ate way too much this weekend, so I haven't eaten yet all day. I'm just gonna do dinner only.
Don't you get headaches?
Nah, I'm fine. I could go like 3 days. It's fine.
All right. So basically, what we did that is different is we're just trying to really focus on the value that we want to add for the optimizer.
Yes.
And we created this new. This is just like that part of the website, right? Like assuming the user logged in. Um, the first part, it will be one of the things that we got feedback is that inputting the stocks and the ETFs can be lengthy. So I think what we want to do, part of the improvement is to upload the PDF for statement. So,
Yep.
for example, I can upload. This is just like a simple PDF with stocks, and then what this is gonna do is just read all that data, and it takes a little bit of time, but eventually will show up like all this from the PDF, and you can double check that the data is right on the right hand side. And then once that happens, so like for example, we have the ABBV, and then the quantity 249, 387, market value. So this is a way to just like give a little bit more of like trust to the user that the we're reading is what matches the statement, and this is only for stocks. Once we this is the preview, so right now the next step is to say how much we want to sell. So we put like a target sell, let's say 100,000, and then we have two strategies: the smallest gains, which is the tax one, and then the multi-factor. Then once you select that, it explains more or less what it is. And then right now we have for Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and then what I was thinking, I didn't share this with Dan, is maybe the generic format is like if you want to input like, I don't know, Excel, like something more unstructured. Like if you have like a, I don't know, Excel spreadsheet that you want to upload, maybe we can handle that, or we can have like a little view if you want to type that in still, we can have that option as well. But let's say for this one was a Fidelity, and then we're gonna send all of this to the system. And it takes a little bit, and what is happened in the backend is, so we extract all that data from the PDF, we send it to our backend system, and then it's just gonna process it. And then
So, do you want me to give you this feedback at the end or as it's going?
as it going, that's fine.
So, my first thought, just I'm just one person, but I'm trying to imagine the person that's using this, right? There's somebody that is not too intuitive with investments, and maybe they don't have their own advisor, right? But they're trying to gain trust with somebody or a new software. And something that jumped out to me, if you can navigate back to the previous screen before you clicked go,
Let me
the
just
layout of the data on the right, it was bigger so that you could see it, but it made it harder for me to know that it got everything, right? So
when we did this
Yeah,
part
the
here.
font was too big, and you didn't know if it got all the securities.
yeah, so like I'm imagining like my parents, Dan's their advisor, like my dad is hyper cynical, and so he didn't want to like do his taxes and stuff online because he thought his information would like get stolen or whatever. You're just dealing with the demographic of people that are older and skeptical of computers, and I didn't like that there wasn't a way for me to see all my apples over here were moved over equally, right? Because this is twice as big, you only see 3 or 4 at a time. And so it'd be better for me if instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all in that first layout. Once I clicked like upload or whatever, it took me to a second page where it showed me, good news, Brian, all of your positions have been gathered, you know, and I could see all 100 lines totaled to the 500,000 that I had, so that I, you know, trust that you got everything. The way that it splits the screen and makes the one so much bigger on the right, you really can only see 2 or 3 securities at a time. And so I trust you guys because I know Dan, and I think that it probably got everything right, correct. But,
So
you know,
Yeah, even if you numerically ordered it and then totaled on the bottom, then you'd be like, I know I have $500,000. It says $500,000. It looks right. And it says 30 stocks. I know I have around 30 stocks. It's right. So like a quick visual where you number and then you total.
yeah, just to make sure nothing is lost, right? Because just knowing what I know about scraping, what happens if it scraped 2 into 1, or, you know, didn't get one?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have necessarily, if like, how can we know if it missed something on the scraper? Right.
right, I think it's a hard problem to solve with the real state of the screen, right? Because this could have multiple pages.
So what I'm saying is, like, you show the beginning,
Mhm.
and then you have some sort of, you know, graphic, or, you know, in the loading, we're working on it for you. We're working.
Okay, so sorry,
The
like
next-
TurboTax that it says we process this many, I don't know, securities, something
Yes.
like.
So, like, you don't have enough space to show all the things on the left and all the things on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But the left was 30 items totaling $280,000 or whatever. Then we're processing. Congratulations.
Okay.
Here's your new stuff. And just on your new format or whatever, reaffirm that you didn't lose any positions and you didn't lose any market value, because the way it is, you can only see 1 or 2 securities at a time.
Right.
And if you're using that person that's skeptical of technology, they might not want to move past there. Wait, did this get all 32 positions?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't get the feeling that it reaffirmed that for me, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Plus, it makes it look like you're doing more.
Yeah.
When you just show them 2 side by side, it just feels like you pulled it and made it bigger. If you do the little animation, when you get to the next screen, it's like, wow, how did they do that? Just like you said, TurboTax, you know, no one knows exactly how it's happening, but when it does the little animation between the two, you feel like it's thinking about me or whatever, you know?
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I think we can work on that. We just need the way. I have to think about a way of, like, because we do show that in the second page, right here. It's where everything is. Actually, not even here.
To Dan's point, I just wish it had numbers. I had 20 positions,
Okay.
you know, do I still have 20?
Well, even if we just listed them in total, right? Because you could easily total your, you know, plus or minus a few $1,000s what your account's going to be, right?
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Okay.
Something that was curious to me as I was looking at the way it was scraping, you know, I was like, I wonder if this is going to show me the current market value of these, or if it's just scraping the price at the time on the sheet, you know? So really, you might not even need as many columns, right? You just show them, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna, and I'm not gonna go back because we might lose the current process, and I don't want to wait. But yeah, like, I don't think this is an older version, but I don't think we need these 2 columns right here. I think we just need the description and the quantity.
We need ticker quantity. Like, if we included current market price, then we could total the value today. Like, it is current price, but it's not obvious based on this. I mean, the price per unit that's scraped is historical price, but we don't use it.
That's interesting. Yeah. So then creates kind of confusion, but I agree with you. Less is more. Just have, AbbVie, quantity, market value.
Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't be that bad. And I'll add the numbers. I want to see if there is a better way to do the transitions as well. So let me go back to.
And I think I gave you this advice last time. Like, I think multi-factor is the way you guys chose to name it. But, if you named it optimization or something or whatever, just think about the marketing.
Yeah, for the lay person, it would be better optimized.
Because the first thing that I think that the biggest challenge you have with this product, right, is you have to have someone that's smart enough that knows that there is an optimal way to free cash, but someone that is not so smart that they can do it themselves or has an advisor that they pay for, right? Because the dumbest person doesn't know that they need to worry about optimization, right? That's the first thing it's like a hierarchy of like, if they're really sophisticated, they're going to do it themselves. If they're really, not at all, then
They don't even know what question to ask.
Yeah, exactly. So you're working in the middle where they know just enough to be dangerous, but they probably don't know multi-factor.
Yeah, I like that. I think, Miguel, we just changed it to like optimized.
Yeah, I think it still needs like for me that I'm in the middle tier, right? Like I don't want to do it myself, but I still want to check. Like it needs some explanation of like.
I think the explanation's good, but then the headline isn't intuitive to me.
Okay.
Because you said like the language underneath it tells you like whatever, like minimize gains or whatever, preserve.
Well, do you think we should be more descriptive in the summary?
I mean, the summary is just a hold right now. It doesn't have much information, to be honest. But we can add as much information as we want.
Yeah, the point is I could be like, it's recommending this because it's trending near a high and it's over, it's
I don't think you need that detail. No,
that'll be too much.
Yeah, because remember, we're like talking about from our vantage from, you're your own advisor now, so you're in a different perspective, but like advisors don't care for the granular. They just want the solution,
Yep.
So don't tell me it's near a 32-week high. Tell me this is the one, simple.
No, I hear you.
Because very few people are going to think at it to the detail that you are and need somebody to do this.
And then I think this is the actual sales recommendation. So this is the table.
Yeah, it's not it, but it's fine.
The longer one?
Hold on.
So this is the
Oh,
you okay then?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, this is the table of the actual recommendations, like based on tax optimization. And then there's some.
Yeah, the
Chart.
chart's kind of dumb, but what would you like to see on the chart, if anything?
It just shows the proceeds and the gain and loss.
So go down, the blue and the green is, I see.
It's basically the proceeds and then what the gain is in each
I think I like the pie chart better.
on what you're selling.
Yeah. And when I looked at the bar chart, I thought it was like a before and after at first. And it doesn't make a lot of sense just because, and it's the nature of it, like some positions are almost 100% gain, So maybe this visual makes sense for the person that picks the tax sensitive, right? Because they are very concerned with tax. But if you are doing the optimized version or the factor version, you probably,
Yeah, you're not going to care about the taxes as much. It might be an IRA anyway.
yeah. So
What about, Miguel, is it easy for us to get like an equity or fixed income or blend? Like something where we know whether it's a stock or a bond? And then we could do like a chart on percent in stock, percent in bond, before and after. Like that might be more useful. What do you think about that, Brian?
I like that better.
But we'd have to figure out, I mean, in this, it's obvious because they're all stocks. But like, the problem is we need to know if I get an ETF ticker, is it a stock or is it a bond or is it a blend? Right?
I mean, that's not that hard, but I guess does that add value to the users? Like,
I mean, it would get them an idea on what their total portfolio risk is before versus after.
My point is like, if you're selling based on tax, you want to know your taxes, you know? And if you're selling based on allocation for optimization, you want to see what that does. Like the first chart, neither one really speaks to what the changes are in the allocation, you know what I mean? So that's why I asked that question. It's, you know, it's pretty odd. The AbbVie, you know, this is just something you scraped, but you're taking more gains than you are proceeds. So the bars might be kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, that number's fucked. That's not right. We have
yeah,
to see what's going on with that. But yeah, don't worry about the
numbers.
Yeah, the numbers.
I mean, I'm just looking at it, and that's what you're seeing in the bar graph.
what will make
I like this chart though. This is intuitive.
what will be the what would make the most sense to have here, like as columns?
I like it as is. This is good. It's
Okay.
just the
I think price to share, we might need current price or something rather than price. Like, what matters is it a current price or is that an old price? Right?
for sure. I don't know what that is.
It should be current price,
It is
but
correct.
it's not obvious. So I think we need to relabel that.
So this part right here, it's okay, despite the numbers, right? Maybe some changes on the labels, that's fine. This chart seems like it doesn't add any value. I mean, we only want to put things that reinforce the user with the whatever analysis we're doing, right? Like we can put 1,000 things on this news, but we're trying to solve one problem at a time. So if this doesn't add any fidelity to that, like maybe we can just get rid of it. Yeah, and this is just the most, like, this is all of them, right? So we picked
Yeah.
we only picked the ones that equal 100,000, but this is just all of them. So you can see, like, I think this is what sort of what you want to see in the previous screen, where it kind of read all of them. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to confirm that you pulled all my positions and you totaled them. I mean, to go back up to your bar graph, you don't have to scrap it. The point of it is
Yeah.
just it's confusing to me because some like usually you think about bar graphs and like is taller better or whatever, you know? And like where it kind of gets weird is like this presumably green is bad, right? Because it's gained.
mm-hmm.
And then, but there's no way to see that negative is good. So like Pepsi, Nike,
Right. This part right here.
yeah, they're
it's
all negative, and you're basically tax efficiently creating that cash.
on
but-
those. Yeah.
Your brain thinks these bars are so small, that's bad. So you don't really need, the blue bar doesn't tell you much, right? It's just market value. So I don't think you need that. You could just make this like gains realized or whatever, and then you could
Mm,
do it in a different way. What I was trying to get at is like, you've bifurcated it into two people, the person that chose tax and the person that chose allocation. And so in a perfect world, you'd have different charts for each person. Maybe the gains chart is for the tax sensitive person, and then the person that chose by allocation defaults to the pie chart. Because if you choose optimized or factor based, you're not choosing to be,
Yeah, you don't care about the taxes, so why show the taxes?
why show that? And then just there might be a better way on the bar chart to basically highlight where you're adding value, right? All these small negative numbers over there should be more pronounced,
so
right?
more
It's places
highlighted.
where you created cash basically for free, but it
Okay.
doesn't tell that story.
This is the part that I think, Dan, you were saying, like, I think this is wrong, but we do like put if it's a stock or not.
Yeah, but we have stock, and then I think we have ETF, but we would need an outliner. Like, we'd need to make a database that has all of the tickers and then what it is, if it's a fixed income or a stock or some sort of, call it an allocation model or something. Like, that's something we could do, but we'd need a database that would read it and then do an output. Then you can get an idea on what the total stock to bond ratio is at minimum.
To the point that Dan's making is like, if you're not doing it for tax reasons, you're doing it for allocation reasons, but neither of the charts show why it was better for the client to get the multi-factor one, right? Internally, we do something and it shows you, hey, you told us you wanted to be a 60-40, you were a 70-30. We did these gains, now you're a 65-35, so we got you 50% closer to where you needed to be. So I think what Dan is saying is, you'd have to be able to attribute all the positions to stock or bond, and then you could pat yourself on the back with one of the charts to show how it was additive for them. I would just caution that if you do that, our experience has been that the number of positions that people bring over is like infinite, because like individual bonds, are issued and they have these crazy QSIPs. Like ETFs and mutual funds have a lot of different names or they change.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I were in your seat, I would just improve upon the existing visuals, because you'll go down a rabbit hole if you try and build a database with every security, because the universe is always changing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it to get that deep.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I had one question for Dan and yourself too. So I guess I've discussed this with Dan. Do you think this is more useful as for business users, like for analysts, like not like of course not at this version, right? Versus like a consumer, because
I think so.
Because like I'm thinking if a business user, right, like you could upload 10, 20, 30 portfolios, and then this could run the analysis for you, so you're saving time and you will use this on your daily job, besides a consumer that could use it maybe once a month.
I think that, like you said, I would say that it's hard to find somebody that is, I said this earlier, and I, didn't want it to sound like a challenge to your business, but you have to find somebody that knows that they should optimally take out their money without knowing enough that they can do it themselves, which is a small group of people. But if you sold this to like a 401k company or something, where they have a whole bunch of people's holdings like canned, and they have, thousands of 401ks, and the people need to take money out of their 401k or whatever, this could tell them how to do it, right? There's thousands of people that need to take distributions and otherwise are just going to do it like prorated equally across positions or pick one or the other, and you have a whole bunch of users. If you can sell it to a business, then you can probably articulate its value better, because the person you're talking to understands how it adds value, right? The problem is, I don't know how you'd market this to individual people. You'd have to get a lot of people to break even, right? if you sold it to one business, you might reach.
Yeah, that's the part where like if I like to a business where there are like analysts that could use this, like it doesn't have to be a huge corporation, like maybe a smaller that use a couple users, and that should be enough. That was because we're still looking for market fit, right? Like we're looking for a user that will actually use it, and even if they use it, the main challenge that I see is like how often are they going to use it for? Um,
And then you wouldn't have to make it as dumbed down either. If you sell it to a business, you have one or two people that can translate for everybody. And you could be a little bit more robust with some of the stuff that you have. Because by nature, it's a little bit granular.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know we're at time and I know you have to go. Any
If there's one or two more screens, I can take a look at one or two more things, but I probably do need to go in the next 5, or we can schedule another time if you want me to look at it. I'm glad to help.
No, I think this is all we have. We only show you the optimized. The multi-factor is the same screen, but just basically different data. Is there anything else that you think we should add to this?
The main thing that I was thinking is just why does it matter, you know? When you guys sell this product or whatever, you know, specific cases or data or other things that show why it matters what you sell when you sell it, reinforces the value of it, right?
Mhm.
Again, like I understand the reason that this is important, right? What you sell, you know, especially things that are like beaten down that could recover or whatever, can have a long-term impact on your ultimate like positional growth or like your risk or things like that. But they just aren't obvious to people that need this help, right? So you need a place, you know, maybe on the front landing page of your website, or, you know, like a scroll bar across the top or to the right or whatever, just reiterating the importance of this. I think that would be good. Or maybe it's just some materials that you build when you approach businesses to sell this, you know, why does it matter?
Do you think that should be just like in general, or do you think like, for example, to include that once the calculation has happened?
I think you can't go wrong by including it too much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did a good job when you talked about TurboTax, you know. Sometimes TurboTax has little factoids that it gives you, and it just is interesting as I'm doing my taxes. You know, it's like, you know, the average blah, blah, blah in Kentucky had this, you know, or whatever. To your point, as you're doing this, congratulations, you optimized intelligently. You,
Mm-hmm.
the average person saved, you know, it just reinforces the value of what you gave them, and it makes the person feel better about what they paid, right? When TurboTax talks to me, I feel better about the money that I've spent, and I've already spent the money or whatever, but it makes me more likely to continue to use it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it could be throughout, but mainly at the front end. I think the hurdle that you have selling this product is people don't know that it matters.
yeah, that makes sense. I think we just need to put more of the what we're trying to solve for. I mean, the these 2 pages are basically just the functionality that we haven't put any, and we just did this with AI. Like basically, we haven't thought too much about like what we're putting. Like I basically create all these apps with the AI in like a couple of days from the previous versions. So it's not like we have spent a lot of time
Yeah.
in it. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. I think we have a few actionable items to work on.
No problem. I'm happy to help if you guys want to put another version in front of me. I think, like, you know, I said this the other time, it's like you don't want to rush to market with something that's not great, but just a reality of this, right, is the more AI it is, the more easy it is for other people to offer something like this or build it out into their platforms. So that's
Yeah.
just something that I think about.
Yeah, it's like the bigger companies just move way slower.
Oh, that's good.
That's the way it is, and a lot of there are a lot of options of verticals that are moving way faster with AI, right? Like for Fidelity to do this is gonna take them like 6 months to a year. So they're gonna do it, but it's just gonna take them a long time. But yeah, no, I think it's good feedback. I don't know, Dan, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I think we have enough to take away on the initial upload and some of the value props, and we got to fix the numbers on the gain piece. But yeah, we'll make some tweaks and get back to you.
Yeah, the last thing that I would say is I don't see any place where you can enter anything. Something that jumped out to me is like if some of the data had been wrong at some point, like should there be an ability somewhere for somebody to overwrite something if the scraper went wrong, or if it couldn't pull tickers, or if it didn't recognize the security, you might need a fail safe somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
a good point, like an editor.
Yeah, that should be easy to add, but that's a good point. Yeah, if something didn't go as expected, you can just add an
Yeah, because otherwise they'd just be like, oh, this is wrong. I can't like move forward, and there's no place for me to.
yeah.
So then you just get spammed in the help desk.
Yeah, no, yeah, we don't want to do that. All right,
Cool.
Cool, man. Thanks. See you.
thank
See ya.
you. Bye.
Uh,
Miguel, you want to stay on?
Yeah.
Stay on for a couple.